Hi guys, welcome to Twitter Marketing, 6 ways to use Twitter to promote your company. Okay, the first trick is to use the right formatting for your tweets. These are a couple of examples I really like. 7 ways to demonstrate true personal mental strength and build character. You know, really good. I mean, he's capitalizing the first letter of each word, which is always a really good idea. He has a retweet call to action here, which is an amazing idea because he'll get all his friends to retweet his stuff. He has a link to the article right after the title. Really good. Sometimes you can use hashtags like here I am using Portland or Facebook if that's appropriate. Let's talk about getting more followers on Twitter. There are 2 different ways to do this, organically or to follow users so they follow you back. Let's talk about ways you can get organic followers, which is when they follow you first without you having to follow them so they follow you. So you can invite people to follow you on Twitter on your website, on your blog, in your email newsletters, in your email signature. And whenever you post your content to some other sites, you can say, hey, follow me on Twitter, okay? There are a couple of ways to follow users so they follow you back. The first one is you can search users by location. And this is really cool, like if you have like a restaurant or any local business, and you know, you can follow everybody in your city so they follow you back. You can also search by keywords in the tweets and profiles. So let's say you have a website and you sell wine online. So everybody who has like wine in their profiles or they tweet about wine, those would be really amazing people to follow. And once you follow people, a lot of them will follow you back. And if they don't follow you back, you can always unfollow them if you want. And finally, one of my favorite tactics is to follow the movers and shakers in your industry. And then find out who's following them and follow those people. I know it could be a little confusing, but let me slow it down a little bit. Let's say you're in the wine industry and you find like there are 2 or 3 really amazing people that everybody's paying attention to, right? So you want to see who's following them. And then you take all these people and you follow them, hoping that they're going to follow you back. And most of these people will, if you have like a really cool background and your tweets are really interesting and they're relevant to the kind of stuff they want to read about. In this case, wine. That leads me to the next idea, which is to help the most influential people in your industry. Let me tell you how this goes. First, you find movers and shakers like I showed you before. Second, you follow them. Third, you add them to a list. Because, I mean, on Twitter, you'll be following a lot of people, but you want to have a list with only the movers and shakers. These very influential people that you really want to pay attention to. So you'll have this on a list. And I suggest that you don't have more than maybe 20 people on this list, so you don't get like all buried down in a lot of tweets. So up to 20 people is fine. Then retweet their stuff. I mean, all these people will start noticing you if you retweet their stuff. So retweeting, in case you don't know what that is the equivalent to email forwarding. So every time these people tweet something, retweet it to all your followers. And this is a really good way for all these movers and shakers to notice you. And also answer their questions and help them. Like if they ask a question about, hey, where should I take my wife for dinner? We're looking for a nice restaurant in downtown Portland, for example. You can go in there and answer the questions for them. Okay, so help them in any way you can by retweeting and by answering their questions. So what's the goal of helping the movers and shakers? Well, it's really nice to have the attention of the most influential people in your industry. And then you can approach them and work out some sort of like joint venture deal where they can either send you leads or you can work together, collaborate somehow. They can interview you, you can interview them. There are like endless possibilities once they get to trust you and know who you are. Okay, so I'll let that up to you to come up with the creative ideas. But basically, the goal we're trying to accomplish here is to get these influential people to pay attention to you so you can work together with them to make something happen. The next tip is to track what people are saying about you on Twitter. And these are the tools I use. You can use Twitter itself, you can use TweetDeck, which is the one I use, or you can use Hootsuite or Social Mention. I don't think you need to use them all. I use TweetDeck, that's good enough for me. But some people prefer Hootsuite, which is very similar to TweetDeck. Some people prefer to actually use Twitter. And Social Mention is actually a little different because you don't have to log in. They actually send you emails every time someone talks about you or your company or your competitors on Twitter. So just try a couple of these, see which one works best for you. Let's talk about what kind of things you want to track. You want to track your Twitter username. You want to track your URL. So every time someone talks about your website or mentions your website, you want to track your company name. You want to track your name. You want to track your competitors. You want to know what people are saying about you, but you also want to know what people are saying about your competitors. Every time they say something good about you, you can use that. You know, if you can approach them and use that as a testimonial if they agree to do it. Or if every time they say something bad about your company, you want to be the first one to know and to make it right? And if they're saying good things about your competitors or bad things about them, that's a really good market research tool for you, so you understand what people really care about and what's important to them. The next tip is to schedule your tweets. And let me explain why. Every time you tweet, those tweets go to like all your followers' news feed. And this timeline moves down as other people they follow start posting. And most people these days are following between 500 and 2,000 people. So this means that once you post, your post will be like moved down really fast and will probably be like off the home page in, I don't know, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, sometimes it's like 2 minutes, depending on how many people your followers are following. So this means that the more often you post, the higher your chances are that people will see your tweets. Now, you don't want to be on Google, on Twitter all the time, right? You want to schedule a couple of tweets so they go out every like half an hour, 15 minutes, an hour, whatever time interval you set. And the tool I use is TweetDeck. And with TweetDeck, you can write like, I don't know, 50, 60, 100 tweets, as many as you want, and have them be sent out like every 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you want. This is a really cool tool, and it's a really good way to always be, right at the very top of your followers' timeline. The next tip is to integrate Twitter with your websites. And there are a couple of ways you can do this. You can ask people to follow you on Twitter, which is just a button. You can use the live stream WordPress plugin to show people what's going on in your Twitter feed. You can have the tweet meme button so people can very easily retweet your stuff. And you can have this really cool plugin for WordPress called Sexy Bookmarks, so people can tweet your stuff and, well, share it on Twitter. If you don't have a WordPress blog, you can always use the Share This website. So that's SHARETHIS.com, sharethis.com. And you can just create your buttons in just a couple of minutes and take the code, put it in your website, and that's it. People can start sharing your content right away. That's it, guys. For more social media marketing videos, you can go to www.theoutsourcingcompany.com/blog. See you there. Take care.